So Pule Mabe, the former ANC spokesperson, has been gone for some time. But now Pule Mabe is back. Everyone is talking about Pule Mabe. Every media house is talking about Pule Mabe because, like typical ANC comrades, Pule Mabe and his wife are facing fraud and money laundering charges. So, for a better context, I want us to go through this article that was released by Eyewitness News a couple of hours ago. The article states that the former ANC spokesperson Pule Mabe has come to his wife's defense, stating that the corruption charges against her were unfounded and misdirected. Mabe, his partner, and 5 co-accused appeared in the Palm Ridge Magistrates Court on Wednesday, facing fraud and money laundering charges. The charges relate to a 27 million rand tender awarded to Mabe's company by the Gauteng Department of Agriculture in 2017 during his time as the Member of Parliament. The state claims the company did not disclose its connection to the former ANC spokesperson when submitting its bid for the tender. The state's indictment shows that Mabe's wife, Matlekelo, was a director of EnviroMobi, which secured 27 million rand tender to provide the city of Ekurhuleni with 200 trucks. It also indicates that after the tender was awarded, payments were made from companies' bank accounts into various accounts, including the one belonging to Matlekelo. Matlekelo is Pule Mabe's wife. Despite the state's allegations, Mabe asserted that there was no case against his wife. Then Mabe proceeded to say that we are being told today that it constitutes a crime to give our wives money and legitimately in business dealings. So we will hear how that becomes a crime. So in this article, one thing that you can actually see is that Pule Mabe is defending his wife to say that no. There is nothing wrong that my wife did. There's nothing wrong that my wife did. But to me, the first red flag is here. The first red flag is here. The charges relate to a 27 million rand tender awarded to Mabe's company by the Gauteng Department of Agriculture in 2017 during his time as the Member of Parliament. Conflict of interest. Conflict of interest. Pule Mabe, as the Member of Parliament under the political party that was governing the country at the time, getting a tender that is worth 27 million rand by the Gauteng Department of Agriculture, it is nothing but conflict of interest. It is nothing but conflict of interest. And you can see that Pule Mabe says that, and again, Pule Mabe says that we are being told today that it constitutes a crime to give our wives monies and legitimately in business dealings. So again, I think according to Pule Mabe, there is nothing wrong, there is nothing sinister with a member of parliament belonging to a political party that is governing the country at the time doing business with the state. There is nothing wrong with the state awarding a member of parliament with a tender that is worth 27 million rand. Guys, please tell me if this is not a conflict of interest. Please tell me if you don't think that this is a conflict of interest. So yesterday, Pule Mabe had a conversation with Olim Gambi on Newsroom Live, and this is what Pule Mabe had to say about these allegations that have been leveled against him and his wife.
You're watching News at Prime. Let's get into another important discussion. Corruption-accused ANC National Executive Committee member Pule Mabe has stepped aside from all his roles in the party. The former ANC spokesperson and a co-accused, they appeared in the Palm Ridge Magistrates Court this morning on charges relating to a 27 million rand tender. Mabe joins me in studio this evening to discuss this. Mr. Mabe, good evening to you, and thank you very much for making the time for this discussion. South Africans watching you sitting in the dock today are asking themselves questions. Is Pule Mabe an innocent man, or is he indeed guilty of the crime that he is being charged with by the country's prosecuting authorities? Which is it tonight?
Well, Koli, evening and evening to your viewers. And once more, thanks for having me in studio after such a long time. I must say, at this stage, Koli, we have pledged our innocence on the matter. And we are doing so fully aware of the facts and the merits associated with the case on whose charges we have been preferred. You know, so we will be able to more broadly deal with our case at the right time. So I wouldn't want to really get into the merits and the demerits of the case. South Africans, like I said to you shortly before we started with the interview, that if you have been around, you would know that there is nothing new about this matter.
So if you don't want to get into the meat and bones of the case, why are you on television? Why are you on TV? Because you know they are going to ask you the questions. They are going to ask you the questions. So if you simply wanted to represent your facts to the court, why are you not waiting until you get your day in court? Because when you come to the television and say, I don't really want to talk about the meat and bones of this case, like, what is the purpose for you being there?
It is just that it is now being ventilated upon in a court of law. This is a matter that we have had to deal with even at the press ombudsman. It's a matter that main publications in the country, senior journalists in the country have carried. I'm quite comforted by the fact that this matter is now before court. It will give me an opportunity to present my vision, to remove whatever cloud that might have remained behind me, especially on issues such as this.
Yeah, but tonight, you have seen it fit to come before the nation.
Of course.
Yes.
And sit in front of a journalist in order to ask you questions. And so one of those key questions is whether or not you are innocent of
Yes.
the crime you are charged
No,
with.
I have already restated that I am not guilty. We have said in an open court that we are going to pledge our innocence. And I agreed to come here because there is nothing that really scares me from talking about this case. Of course, I would have to be guided because, you know, when you take a stand in a court of law, you are also guided by the worships there to understand what it means to remain silent. But that does not detract from the fact that where issues are already out there in the public domain, we may, speaking to journalists yourselves, clarify that, because we've also got to understand the prominent space we occupy in society, even as we receive the many messages from friends and families wishing us well during these trials that we are going through. They've got to understand that we too have got a vision to place before the courts of our nation.
As you say, this is a matter that is now going to be finally ventilated inside a court of law. And listening to some of the discussion today in court, it doesn't seem, at least at face value, that delivering on what you were contracted to do by the department concerned, it doesn't seem that that would have been much of an issue, because over 190 of these tuk-tuks were delivered, except for the 4, and I think there was something about them being damaged because of a storm that had occurred at the time. It's more to do with the process which led to you receiving this tender or being awarded this tender. What can you tell us, sitting here tonight, about that process? Was it above board, to your knowledge?
Guys, this is the most pathetic question that I've ever heard. I mean, if you are a journalist, you are sitting next to someone who has been accused of money laundering and fraud, I think the first question that Xoli Mugambi should have asked Pule Mabe is, as a member of parliament under the ANC, did the Gauteng Department of Agriculture award your company with a tender that is worth 27 million rand? As a member of parliament, as an ANC, NEC member, did you do the business with the state? Did the state award your company with a tender that is worth 27 million rand? That is the first question. And after that, the second question that Xoli should have actually asked Pule Mabe is, do you think that there is a conflict of interest when an ANC member of parliament does business with the state? Do you think that there is a conflict of interest when ANC, NEC member does business with the state? Now, Xoli Mugambi says that we know maybe the problem is it was not because you didn't deliver. You did deliver beside the 4. Was the deal between you and the state above board? How can you ask that question? Of course, the deal was not above board. Because first of all, the man that you are talking to is heavily connected with the people in government. So there is no way that the deal between Pule Mabe and the state can be above board, because Pule Mabe is heavily connected with the people that are awarding the tenders in the state, into the state. So what kind of a question is that? Was it above board? What do you mean, was it above board? This guy is an ANC, NEC member, an ANC member of parliament. What do you think? This guy has been with the ANC for the longest time. The people that are deployed by the ANC all over the country, they are friends with these people. So what do you mean when you say, was the deal above board? Of course the deal was not above board. Of course the deal was not above board. Pule Mabe, he has friendship with the people that are issuing out tenders. Pule Mabe, these comrades of the ANC that are issuing out tenders are friends with Pule Mabe. So what do you mean, was the deal above board? Like, guys, this is weak journalism from the people of this country. Because if Pule Mabe can say, okay, maybe there's some sort of conflict of interest if an ANC, NEC member does business with the state, like, of course you got him there. Then if Pule Mabe agrees that, okay, there is a conflict of interest, then you already have your answers for everything. You already have your answers for everything. But Xoli Mugambi says that, no, was the deal above board? Of course it was not. Of course it was not. Of course, it's just like now, you hear that Fikile Mbalula and his wife, they got a tender of 300 million rand somewhere else. Then you're going to ask Fikile Mbalula, was the deal above board? How can you ask that, man? These people are friends. These people are friends. This is weak journalism from these people that are on TV every day. This is pathetic journalism from these people.
This is a matter that is now going to be finally ventilated inside a court of law. And listening to some of the discussion today in court, it doesn't seem, at least at face value, that delivering on what you were contracted to do by the department concerned, it doesn't seem that that would have been much of an issue, because over 190 of these tuk-tuks were delivered, except for the 4, and I think there was something about them being damaged because of a storm that had occurred at the time. It's more to do with the process which led to you receiving this tender or being awarded this tender. What can you tell us, sitting here tonight, about that process? Was it above board, to your knowledge?
Well, let me first clarify. You know, you'd understand that investigating officers, as well as the prosecution, would rely on the information that they were given. I can place this on record without breaking the rule of maintaining my silence, because there are records to that effect. Yeah. 200 vehicles have been delivered. I'm sure that it is possible that at the time when they had the reports, they may not have confirmed. Well, all the vehicles have been delivered. And when delivery.
So Pule Mabe is not disputing the fact that he did a deal with the state. He's not disputing that. He is not disputing the fact that him, as the member of parliament, he did a deal with the state.
It took place, those that were dealing with the technical aspects of the delivery would have ensured that all of the cars are in a usable state. Unfortunately, there would have been instructions by those that were doing investigations at the time, directing GDAT not to hand over the vehicles because they are subject of an investigation. The consequence of that is that the 100-odd vehicles, I don't know how many are still there in Seigerbos, because I heard some of these things in court. It then meant that you then allowed these cars to be vandalized either by baboons there, by people passing by who may want, we've got a lot of scrap dealers. So you exposed that asset procured by public funds to vandalism in that way, without taking it to the many guys, informal waste pickers that we see on the street pulling carts on a daily basis, because this program was supposed to assist those. So, but I want to go to your question.
I don't want to cut you short because time is of the essence. Yes. The essence of the question has to do with the process.
Yes. I was
of the awarding of the tender.
Yes. Well, I was going there, because we spend a lot of time sitting by ourselves at home. Maybe we're also aging to a point that when we explain, when our explanations are taking this aging pattern. So, but to be fair to you, this is what I know to the best of my knowledge. And if I'm wrong, I'm allowed to be corrected. What I know is that the tender was published by GDAT early in 2017. What I know is that EnviroMobi participated in that tender, not alone, with a few other entities. What I know is that a site visit was conducted at the premises that EnviroMobi would have provided to GDAT.
But Pule Mabe is not answering the question. Was the deal above board? Was the deal above board?
That for purposes of checking and satisfying themselves that that which EnviroMobi had stated indeed exists. Yeah. What I know is that a letter of appointment was issued on the grounds of the strength of the proposal that was submitted. What I also know is that there were beneficiaries associated with this project. What I know as well is that drivers' learners' licenses were given to those. I also know that former Premier Makura, MEC Maile, MEC Masupye, in their different capacities, participated first in the handing over of the three-wheelers at in Tembisa, I think it's Makulong Stadium. Second, in the inspection in loco of the motorized three-wheelers, as well as the handing over of the learners' licenses. And thirdly, again, in handing over the tuk-tuks themselves or the motorized three-wheelers to the rightful beneficiaries. But fourthly, more important, was the publishing of a gazette that deals with a waste management plan for the informal waste sector. That is now anchored on exactly that which was done by government. So at least if someone has got different, if there's a different version, I'm allowed to be educated on that one.
Quick one. Among the people accused.
The guy never answered the question. The guy never answered the question. And I'm surprised that Oli can actually sit with this person and not press this person about the fact that he did business with the state. He's not answering the question. He's not answering the question, and for some reason, Oli is allowing him not to answer the question. He's allowing him not to answer the question. So how is it okay that the members of parliament of the ANC, how is it okay that the NEC members are doing business with the state? How is it okay? And of course, the deal will never be above board because these people know each other. Of course, the deal will never be above board. Me, guys, when I see this case, this is just a case of someone being caught with their hands in the cookie jar. This is just a case of someone being caught with their hands in the cookie jar.
In this matter are government officials who belonged to the Department of Agriculture. At no point, and I'd like for you to state this for the record, did you at any point use your influence as a senior ANC member at the time of the awarding of this contract?
Of course, guys, I am going to hit this laptop with my fist. Of course, that's what I've been saying this whole time. Of course, he used his influence. Of course, he did. There is no way that he didn't use his influence to actually get this tender. There is absolutely no way. You can't tell me that Pule Mabe and his wife, they can draft a beautiful proposal, a proposal that is more attractive than other people's proposals. There is absolutely no way. There's absolutely no way. Of course, he used his influence to get this tender. Of course.
ANC member at the time of the awarding of this contract, did you at any point instruct a government official to do either one thing or the other in order for you to get this contract?
Well, even with the sophistry of government investigators going into our bank, my bank accounts, the company's bank accounts, I'm not sure about cell phones. If that would have happened, they can tell you for free that there is no records that suggest otherwise. I can state.
You meet these people live. There's no need for you to send these people messages. There is no need for you to make calls to these people because you see them every day. You see them every day. So you can't say that now. I didn't use my influence because there is no evidence in my cell phone that I spoke with these people. There is, of course, you meet with these people every day. There is no need for you to actually have conversation with these people about the deals on your phone. There is no need for that. There's no need for that. You see these people every day. You know where these people live.
This on record. The motorized three-wheelers in question, the ones that were being offered by EnviroMobi, are a product of an innovation that I engineered, whose architecture I drove. So I always pride myself with the ability of these concepts to sell themselves.
All right.
When I saw the concept sell itself as part of the presidential employment stimulus, providing much needed social relief, I also stood there and said, it's possible for us to innovate impactful stuff that can also help our government to deliver to our people.
Pule Mabe, I want to thank you very much for your time.
Man, the South African media is a disgrace, man. The South African media is a disgrace. This guy did not ask Pule Mabe the questions that are going to. He did not ask Pule Mabe the questions that are relevant. He did not ask Pule Mabe the questions that are relevant because most of the time, when these people are caught doing the business with the state, the first thing that they are going to do, they will try to deny that they did business with the state. So the first thing that you need to do is to make Pule Mabe admit that he did business with the state. Then hit him with a conflict of interest. Hit him with a conflict of interest. And after that, you must not ask questions, did you use your influence? Tell him that you used your influence. If there's clearly a conflict of interest, then tell him that you used your influence as the member of the ANC, as the member of the, or as an ANC member, as an NEC member, as an ANC member of parliament, you used your influence to actually get that tender. Make him defend his stance. Make him defend his stance. But the South African media is like, it's in the gutter. South African media is in the gutter. Guys, so please tell me what you think on the comment section. Don't forget to hit that like button, and the most important part, subscribe. My name is Thomas Mabaso. I will see you next time. Guys, hit that like button.